I was recently talking to a pastor friend of mine. We're both reflecting on our experience of the lockdown so far. Although he's not a key worker, he said that for him this time was turning out to be quite busy. He described the new experience he was having of spending hours involved in video conferencing and meeting social media commitments. We both reflected on the new skills that this new context demands of us, with little time to master them. We then went on to muse over the expectations that have been raised, as we all throw ourselves at the task in an attempt to keep things as normal as possible. And I've been thinking, well, all this activity on the one hand is really fruitful and good. On the other hand, it can be quite intense. So, for those of us in lockdown, are we missing an opportunity here just to slow down, to take stock of life, what our priorities are, what is important, and what is less important? Are we finding rest for our souls? Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I'm gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light." What a strange time we're experiencing, or should I say, a strange experience of time. I don't know about you, but my normal rhythms of each week have just gone straight out the window. Now one day just seems to slip into the next. The key workers are extremely busy. God bless them and protect them. But the vast majority of the rest of us should be finding a lot of time on our hands. Interesting phrase. I've been pondering that phrase. A lot of time on our hands. The language we use can say a lot about the way we see life, what's important, what's not. According to the Cambridge Dictionary, this phrase means a period when you have nothing you must do. And the Macmillan Dictionary says to have more time available than you need. When you have nothing you must do, to have more time available than you need. That got me thinking about contrasting phrases actually that we like to use. Like, I'll try to make some time, or I'll see if I've got time to fit you in, or again, I've got no time for this, or stop wasting my time, or just simply stop wasting time. There's a story where Jesus has something to say about our attitude towards how we spend our time. Jesus and his disciples are invited into the home of a woman named Martha. She has a sister called Mary. Mary is sitting at Jesus' feet, listening to what he's teaching. In the meantime, Martha has thrown herself into all the preparations required in order to show the right type of hospitality for her guests. It says she is distracted from being with Jesus. Martha finally gets so wound up with all the work that she comes to Jesus and says, "Don't you care that Mary has left me to do all this work by myself?" She then tells Jesus to tell Mary to help her. In his usual fashion, Jesus responds in a classic case of transforming our understanding. Jesus says, "Martha, Martha, you're worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." He basically says, Martha, you're stressed out by your choice to fulfill the expectations of this hospitality thing. And he says, Mary is doing the better thing, and I'm not going to take it away from her. He wasn't going to let Mary be distracted from him, like Martha was. Jesus has come to recalibrate our understanding of life. So what exactly is he saying here? Well, he's not saying chilling out and avoiding work is okay. And it's important also to see he's not saying that what Martha is doing is bad in of itself. The scriptures have a lot to say about the goodness in showing hospitality. No, this is not an issue of good or bad, of right or wrong. What Jesus is saying is this: well, what Martha has chosen to do is commendable. Mary has chosen to spend this time doing something more important, more excellent, the better thing. So what exactly is it that is so much better? What was Martha missing? What might we be missing? Basically, Martha misunderstood where the real blessing was. Her attitude revealed that her perspective was not producing life in and through her activity, however commendable it was. In fact, her attitude was producing in her anxiety and resentment, which eventually spilt out through her mouth in the words she said to all the world around her. Mary, on the other hand, must have sensed the mysterious way that life comes from being in Jesus' presence and hearing his words. So it's not surprising then that Jesus had so much to say about his presence and his words in Scripture. Listen to some of these. If you hold to my teaching, Jesus says, you are really my disciples, then you'll know the truth and the truth will set you free. Or elsewhere, anyone who loves me will obey my teaching. My Father will love them, and we will come to them and make our home with them. These words you hear are not my own. They belong to the Father who sent me. Elsewhere he says, apart from me, you can do nothing. And he says, the Spirit gives life. The flesh counts for nothing. The words I have spoken to you, they are full of the Spirit and life. So he's come so that we might have life in all of its fullness, all the time, whatever the activity. So, it turns out Martha had allowed the task to set the agenda for how she felt, where she was at, and it didn't produce in her life. By contrast, Mary allowed Jesus' presence and living words to set the agenda for where she was at. So here is the better thing, above all, to make time to allow the living presence of Jesus and his life-giving words to constantly shape and mold our perspective of ourselves, of others around us, of the world around us, and to shape our perspective of every task set before us. This transforms perspective of duty and obligation into desire and delight. I applaud and am seriously blessed by the initiatives emerging from the wider church in response to our current situation. May they continue to flow. However, I hope that this is not at the expense of being distracted away from what I propose is an extraordinary God-given opportunity for us. I suggest that for those who have put faith in Jesus, we are living in a time of great opportunity. Opportunity to think about the way we live out our faith in Jesus, what that looks like on an individual level, and what it looks like when we meet together. We have the opportunity to honestly ask ourselves whether what we do and the way we do it produces life in us, the sort of life Jesus promises. Or have we allowed what appears to be a good way of doing things to distract us from what is better? May you know the life-giving presence of Jesus and his words. May you have your perspective on life, the situations and tasks before you, shaped and moulded by his power within you. May you avoid being distracted from this. May you naturally come to always choose what is better. Christ in you, the hope of glory.